Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
All right, what is shaking, everybody? This is another episode of the Complete Fitness Podcast coming at you right now. If you are watching on YouTube, you can see that it's the middle of the night. No, it isn't. It is 7:40 in the morning, and look how dark and gloomy it is. What a shame. As you know, or maybe you don't know, there's a great window in this office, which you do not see. You're just seeing this wall behind me. But it's what I look through, and a lot of natural light comes in here, plus this ring light. It really makes a nicer look for the podcast. There's obviously no light coming through this window. It's 7:40 in the morning. The sun should have been up, and guess what? It just isn't. It's dark and gloomy and lame. It's the day before Thanksgiving, so I will show gratitude, but that's my only complaint. What's going on with this weather? I can't stand it. It greatly affects your mood, greatly affects my mood, and I'm sure it affects your mood. It's hard. I have to have more coffee than any other day on these gloomy days. And your coffee consumption doesn't matter as much as your water consumption. We've had a whole podcast dedicated to this before, but it's always nice to have a reminder. Maybe you're new to the podcast, or maybe you've just forgotten. If you are hammering coffee all the time, coffee, and you're going, why am I not energized? Why is this not working? Chances are you aren't properly hydrated. Your caffeine's only going to take you as much as your body's hydrated. If you are dehydrated, you're going to be lethargic, sore, tired, and all of these things. It doesn't matter how much caffeine you pump into your body. In fact, the caffeine is just going to aid into your anxiety and your angst, because it's going to keep you heightened up, and it's going to get you that jittery feeling that no one really loves and tries to avoid when having coffee, because you're not hydrated. It is a diuretic. We're peeing all the time. It's not good for us if we aren't properly hydrated. So if you are somebody who's just hammering coffees and energy drinks and you go, why am I always tired? If you are not adding water regularly, you don't get that complaint yet. Add a bunch of hydration to your life and to your day, and more water than you're thinking right now. It's not just have a water bottle. Have a lot of water, and then also keep coffee and watch the difference. It's huge. That's that. And scene about my coffee soapbox. How we doing? Check in with yourself. I hope you are in a moment of gratitude. I hope this moment expands onto many, many different moments. I hope you practice gratitude every single day. It is truly a life hack to just have a happier existence, because everything you have in life, you are lucky to have achieved. The fact that you have a life is a miracle, and you can get into the way vast experience of the universe and how small we are. We're just the smallest, or you can go even smaller than that and think, wow, out of this whole entire grand universe, there's 8 billion people or whatever, and I get to be one of those. That's crazy. Or you can go even smaller, and you can go, man, if my parents never met each other, and their parents never met each other, and their parents never met each other, I wouldn't be here, or I'd be different, aka I wouldn't be here. Things would be whatever. Or you can go even smaller and go, man, if I didn't go to this high school or this college or play this sport or go to this party, I would have never met my wife, and that would have never I would have never had kids, and these whole entire lives would not have existed if I didn't just go to this party this one time. It's insane how lucky you are to have everything you have right now. It's insanity, and sometimes somebody just needs to remind you of that. So hopefully I can do that today. It's the day before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the day to be grateful, the day to be thankful, but you should spend more time than just tomorrow showing gratitude. And if you are somebody that finds yourself in a rut and find yourself, kind of in that woe is me territory from time to time, that's the greatest, simplest life hack. 5 minutes before bed, 5 minutes when you wake up, drink your water, drink your caffeine, and everything's going to be okay. You got a roof over your head. You're able to listen to this podcast however you are. It's pretty good. You got a pretty good deal compared to other people, or compared to those that never got the experience of a human life. And that leads me into the bulk of the podcast. What I really want to talk about is just remembering your passion and love for things. I have recently found this. Obviously, my job has transformed a ton since I started. I became a personal trainer. I got certified in personal training, I don't know, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. And then my sweet baby Corey opened a gym in Milford and ran it by himself for however long, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and then said, "Hey, I need some help. If you would like to work for me, you can." I said, "Okay." I love fitness. I'm passionate about fitness. It was something I did all the time. I don't mean that like, oh, look how buff. Obviously, if you're looking at me, you know that's not the case. But it was something that was very good for my mental health, and it was just like I love, sports and whatever, playing hockey once a week. It was the same thing. As my time in the gym was my fun. It was fun. And so I was like, oh, I could build a career around this. And then fast forward into having 2 locations, it's 9, 10 years later. I'm pretty sure the 9-year anniversary of the Milford location opening is like now, might be today, even for all I know. I'm pretty sure it's right around here. So that's amazing. And then Wixom, shortly thereafter, we're at our 5-year. It'll be 6 years in May, but we're like 5.5 years. So my job has transformed a ton. I was just personal training and coaching, and then group training and coaching, and then more managerial position. And now my job has shifted so much into the mindset aspect, which is great. But if you would have told me when I started, hey, I realize you love working out and fitness, so this is a good idea to make your career. But one day you're going to have a podcast. You're going to be really into mindset. You're going to get multiple mindset certifications. You're going to study, mindsets and the Stoics and different things and psychology and all of this stuff. And that's what you're going to be spending a lot of your time on when it comes to connecting with your members and the people, your clientele, even though I hate that word, from a very objective kind of professional point of view, clientele. You're really going to be doing a lot of mindset and connection work in order for people to have more growth physically with their health and fitness in the gym. I wouldn't have believed you. So it's crazy that this has grown and this is the path that we are on now. And who knows, maybe this stops or maybe it grows and grows and grows and grows. And we'll see 9, 10 years from now what my job is and what I'm doing. So the point is that in all of this changing, I went from really love my time in the gym. I love everything. Really, Olympic lifting was something that I really like. It's a lot of barbell stuff. It's not so much the classic bench press, squat, deadlift. There's a ton of place for that, and I did that regularly because it's so fundamental and important when it comes to building a strong, healthy body. Those fundamental movement patterns and those fundamental strengths. We have bigger muscle groups in our body, and if you strengthen the larger, bigger muscle groups in your body, your body will be bigger, larger, stronger. In theory. So it's important to not spend all of your time, working on just your shoulders. There's a lot of core stuff. There's a lot of legs, glutes, quads. That's very important for healthy knees and being able to move. There's whole different avenues of fitness. And then there's the fitness world that's just about your physique. And you want to spend a lot of time on shoulders because if you don't have broad shoulders, you don't have a slim waist, your arms don't look defined, yada, yada, yada. And then there's the more performance-based. If you want to be a professional athlete, you need to work on explosivity, plyometrics. So there's a million different avenues of fitness. I kind of really found mine and the stuff I enjoyed. I loved Olympic lifting. I loved competing. I loved being competitive. And I loved it connecting into the sports world. Even though I hadn't played sports since high school, it was just kind of, I was still able to compete and felt like I was still part of a team and still doing stuff because of the gym and kind of my mindset and the way my mental connection to what I was doing physically. And I had a lot of pride and it was fun. I was prideful of, wow, I can do this with a bar. I can take 175 pounds and snatch it over my head, catch it in a squat. And I only weigh 170 pounds. This is pretty sweet. And it was fun. It was something I built towards. I remember I would go to work. I would go work out at noon. This is when I would just do one shift at a day, part-time trainer with Corey at Milford, and I wouldn't come into work until like 3:30 every day because our first classes in the evening didn't start till 4:30. So I was off all day, and then 3:30 I would go. But what I would do is I would work out at noon, go home and eat, shower, whatever I did, go to work my shift, and then when I would come home, I would go into my garage and lift because I had a lifting platform out there. And it's like, man, I really loved it. And then you think about that from the health standpoint is I spent a lot of time exercising because it was my hobby. It was what I did. It was my passion, and I loved it. Nowadays, fast forward, my umbrella is casted huge. I don't just work part-time. Obviously, that's the biggest thing. I've grown. I now have a house and a wife and a baby and way more responsibility than I've ever had. Have a gym that I treat as my own. I feel, I take on a ton of responsibility of this Wixom location. We have staff. We have a million and one things that goes on throughout the day, as we all have with our career and with our life. As you grow, your responsibilities grow. You kind of cast this net of the things that you are responsible for. And I think what we do is we kind of forget what we love, and at least for me, lately, I've really been getting back into the love of Olympic lifting and reminding myself that I love it. And it was really profound to me is I really just had to do that. Remind myself, hang on, Ev, you love this shit. This is why you're even here in the first place. This is why this is your job. I know you spend a lot of time on more of the analytics and stuff, and I still train multiple times a week, but I used to train, 50 sessions a week. It's way less than that now. But that is what the building block is. And I know you've grown and you're grown in your career and you're doing more, and this is all stuff you want to do, but the basis of it needs to stay what you wanted, right? Your passion and your love, and you had that, and you have that still, and you've just forgotten. That's how it felt. I just forgot. And I was in the middle of a workout. It's 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And I got to this moment, which I always call the oh shit moment in working out. And it's when you're really in a workout that's challenging you, and you get to a point when you just think, oh shit, I don't know if I'm going to finish this. This is hard. This is whatever. Not all workouts have an oh shit moment, but I remembered that I loved it. I knew I was going to finish it. It's hard. It's challenging. I'm getting it done no matter what. And when it's done, I'm going to feel awesome for the rest of my day. I'm going to be sore tomorrow. And then tomorrow, guess what? We're going to do it again. I'm going to earn this feeling again. I'm going to recycle this feeling. And this is a hobby of mine. This is what I love. Just like playing hockey one time a week, just like watching the football games. This is something that feeds me and energizes me. But when you lose that passion and forget that this is actually something you enjoy, it becomes 10 times harder. And you can even set yourself up. And the proof is with my hockey that I do once a week. Not every weekend I want to go play, obviously. And sometimes you're just tired. It's been a long weekend. The last thing you want to do is go play this hard, intense hockey. You're just tired. Whatever. I'm not saying you have to do whatever. You got to listen to your body. You got to listen to your brain. If you're tired and exhausted, you're exhausted. But sometimes you can almost convince yourself that, I don't need to do it right now. I don't need to do it right now. And that turns into a year of, I don't need to do it right now, into 3 years. And then next thing you know, you wake up 10, 15 years later and you go, man, I haven't done stuff that I love forever. And, or when I do them, I'm not really appreciative of how much I love this and I'm enjoying this, right? They become inconveniences for you. And this is what's so common with the gym. And I'll be the first to admit, working in a gym, I spend all of my time in the gym when I'm not at home because I'm working. It's my job. So when I don't have to be working, I don't want to be in the gym, right? So that would lead to less intense workouts, fitting workouts into my gym, more rest days I'm adding, less intensity and less drive, and more so shifting from this is my hobby and this is what I love doing with this Olympic lifting and these workouts, these challenging moments that get me to this oh shit moment of, perseverance and accomplishments that fuel me and make me feel really good and boost my self-esteem and confidence and make my body feel good and look good. And all of this stuff that I really love and I'm passionate about. I love just movement in general. I'm a nerd about it, but it's whatever, that's me. It became more so like, I got to check the box of working out today. Right? And life happens. You're tired. When we first had our baby, the first 8 months, he slept horribly. So I was tired all the time. So it's harder to work out. Working out is hard in general when you're so tired. For a while, we weren't even getting more than 3 hours of sleep at a time for like an extended period of time. I'm not kidding. 8 months. And people have it way worse than that. So I'm not saying woe is me. I'm just saying. But life happens in ebbs and flows, and you kind of, at least for me, I almost like shook the fog away and kind of realized, hang on, you've set your mindset up in this world where getting your health and fitness in, or going to your hockey game or whatever, this is just an example, has become a burden and inconvenience of a task, another thing under your umbrella of responsibilities. And it's not your responsibility. It's something you love. It's something you enjoy. And it's like we sacrifice the things we love because it's easy. You need to be mindful of your spouse's time. Your kids take up all your time, your job, your responsibilities, and then you have all of like your house stuff and, the bills paid. Is the car running? Do you need a new car? Is your cell phone bill? But there's a million different things that are constantly, you're fixing, you're calling this person. Oh, the roof is leaking. The floor is this. A tree fell on our house. Life happens, and there's other things you need to, and the first things to go are the things that you love, right? And then you just start fitting those in, and they become that you lose the passion and drive and the fun of it. And I think that is something we need to harness and grab and appreciate more. If you have something you love, make time for it. And more importantly, remember that it's something you love and be grateful that it's something you have and love, right? When you do it, do it. Do it as hard as you work. Do it as hard as you take care of your kids. Do it as hard as you're a spouse. Do it as hard as you clean your house. As hard as all of the things that take up so much of our time as we just become adults in society. Do the things you love with that much passion and intensity. Do it. Get it done. And the more we poo-poo it, they become obstacles. And they go, I don't have any time for that. And it's like, well, what are you saying? You don't have time for yourself? You don't have time to do the things you love? It's harder. It's definitely harder. Life gets harder as you grow. And then I think maybe one day it'll get easier. I could be wrong. I haven't been there yet. But, your responsibilities grow. Your knowledge grows, everything kind of grows, and you see the world differently, and then you are this big piece in it. I'm not just like a 16-year-old kid who's just doing whatever anymore. I'm a 31-year-old man with a mortgage and a little mouth to feed and a wife and a business. Like it's life, right? You know what I mean? So it's easy to just kind of forget. It's almost easy to forget that you love shit, and maybe it's something more short term. Maybe you belong to a gym. Maybe you belong to our gym 6-7 months ago, a year ago, and you really liked it. You really had a good routine. And then it came harder and harder to get into the gym for whatever reason. Life changed. We get busy. Our schedule changed. We get new jobs. And, it became more of a to-do. Oh, got to get to the gym. Oh, got to get to the gym. Oh, got to get to the gym. Well, remember that you love it. Remember that it's a fun 30 minutes of your day or a 40 minutes of hour of your day. Or like runners, if you're a passionate runner and some days you're just like, I just got to fit my running in. Remember that you love it. Find a podcast, find some music, and get excited for it. You can trick your mind into doing that. And I think we need to do that more. And it lessens the burden of life. It makes life seem less tiring and taxing Because if you're not spending time doing stuff that you love, you're not really resting the way that we think. And this will get into my last podcast, so I don't want to get too far into it. Being bored is not doing something that energizes you. You know, you finally get the day. My day ends at 7:30. I get home, I have dinner. Me and my wife watch whatever for an hour, and I fall asleep on the couch. That's how every night ends. That's not enough time of peace. You know, that's not enough time for me to just be okay doing what I love 1 hour a day. Right. And that hour a day is not with my baby because he's asleep. So that's something I love that I'm not experiencing. That hour a day is not working out because I had already done that. That hour a day is not playing hockey. That hour a day is not watching football all the time or whatever. And if it is, I fall asleep during it. So it's not, it's not doing what you love. It's just being. And so boredom we need to avoid. And it kind of plays into everything we just talked about over the last 20 minutes of, keep the things you love a priority and keep them and remind yourself. And maybe right now you're thinking, man, that's right. I did love that art class that I was in. Man, I did love that running group I was in. We used to go play. The bowling league we used to do Tuesday nights. That's right. I love it. Why did I stop doing that? And you might find yourself really kind of energizing yourself and waking up and realizing, none of this is that bad. None of these priorities, none of these burdens are that big of a deal. I'm really just in a mindset where I have a lot on my plate. So every single thing that comes at me seems hard. I'd rather just sit and scroll on my phone and not have a responsibility. But that doesn't serve us. That's spending more time doing what you don't want to be doing. Being bored is spending more time doing what you don't want to be doing. So it doesn't serve you. It's not energizing. It's not rest. It's kind of confusing because you think if you're bored, you got nothing going on, but it's an absence of doing something that fuels you as well. So we need to be mindful of that. And that is that. I hope this podcast made sense. I thought it was appropriate for the pre-Thanksgiving ep because it has a lot to do with being grateful and thankful and gratitude. And you have passions and hobbies and things that you love. And you have families and businesses and whatever, things that you're passionate about, things that you work hard for. And it's all the beautiful part of life. And you're so damn lucky to have it. Again, macro when we think about the universe, micro when we think about our parents meeting each other. It's an amazing, beautiful thing. And you are so lucky to have it. And to have the life you have. And I know you know that, but it's good to just have a reminder. I need reminders all the time as well. That is all. I love you. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.